Hey guys, Trevor Boehm here. This is a video for you if you are struggling with giving yourself permission to live the life you want to as a man, or as a woman if you're watching this, but specifically we're talking about men. And if you're worried about what will other people think if I go out and strike my own path. Again, my name is Trevor. I'm the founder of the Uncivilized movement and the author of this book, Man Uncivilized, which thousands and thousands of men have read. And if you are a man or a woman, you should read. And I've been coaching clients for about 20 years now, and specifically working with men for about the last 8. And specifically even more, working with nice guys, the quote, nice guy, right? That's my bread and butter. I love working with these guys because I am a recovering nice guy. And so let's talk about today's session. This is a live in-person coaching call filmed with permission about a young man who grew up in a certain area. He grew up in Connecticut, and he is a breakdancer. And the area he grew up in doesn't look favorably upon people who go to the unconventional route. Now, I know this because I grew up in the town over in Connecticut and felt and had to deal with the same thing he did when I went on an alternative path. So again, if you're the type of guy who's not quite sure, I can live the life I want. I can live from my heart. I can trust my soul. I can do something alternative. Like, this is a breakdancer. This young man is a breakdancer. And he wants to be the best in the world at breakdancing, and he wants to dedicate himself to breakdancing, but he doesn't quite have the permission to do something that unconventional, and he's really worried about what other people will think of him if he goes for it full bore. All right, so again, live coaching session. We're about to jump in, me and JC. Do me a favor. If you get something out of this, please hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below, share this episode, help me grow this channel, and help me work with men. The mission of Uncivilized is to create a movement of 1 million men who express their masculinity with both the primal and the divine, and to do this so that we can end the unnecessary suffering in men, so we end the suffering caused by men. Big goal, and I need your help. All right, live, me and JC. So the goal of this, just so you know, is I've put so much content out there that's theory. And people are always like, well, how does it really work? I want to show people the actual process so that it's not just like, oh, this is what boundaries are, and then they go about their day. But it's actually digging in with a man and also giving men permission, because guys will watch this and go like, okay, if he's willing to say he's got shitty boundaries, I'm willing to say I got shitty boundaries, or whatever it is. So remind me again, what was the main challenge you say you have nice guy wise?
Well, there's plenty, I guess.
All right. Riff a couple.
Not plenty, but I guess the biggest thing for me right now is that I feel kind of lost with myself. Like, what do I want to do in life? I kind of know what I want to do, but I guess my biggest issue right now is, and I took your course and I learned so much from it, by the way.
Right on.
It gave me such clear insight on so many of the things that I've done in my life and the reasons why I've done that. And but the biggest thing right now is doing what I want to do and being who I am authentically without the fear of judgment of others. That's kind of, I think, the biggest thing.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I know we had talked. So actually, dude, I grew up in Richfield, Connecticut.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I know you said you were from Wilton. So yeah. So as you can see, I mean, I don't know how many years you're in Wilton for, but I grew up I went to Richfield High, graduated 2015. So I'm in Norwalk now, and I love Norwalk, but been in Norwalk for probably almost 10 years now. And but Richfield, they have a lot of expectations on you. Go to college, go to school, be a lawyer. If you know where Richfield is in Wilton, you would know what I'm talking about, right? White kid town, right? All parents got money, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So, but I'm actually a breakdancer. So I'm a breakdancer. So it's just, I was growing up, I loved skateboarding, breakdancing, dude. I got into trouble, I got into deep shit, and I was never a nice guy. I'm gonna be honest. I was never. And then just kind of went like down this nice guy path later on.
Okay.
Stuff has happened, and I can totally share more about that. But I'm a breakdancer, and so I want to breakdance. That's kind of my dream. When I was a kid, I wanted to be the world's best breakdancer, actually. and I still want to breakdance and maybe be the world's best breakdancer. But I want to be in sponsorships. I want to travel the world, do competitions, do shows, maybe get into like modeling or being background dancer for maybe artists and stuff like that. So that's the biggest thing. But my fear is, I guess really putting my foot into there and, stepping into that. And then there's, like I said, there are other things like, there's been issues with my nice guyness with like women and relationships and all that. But I feel as though like if I step into like doing what like I really want to do and being who I want to be, that's going to help everything else, honestly. So.
First of all, that's pretty fucking cool. And it's just cool, right?
Thanks.
I'm so glad you weren't like, I want to be B-level management at Morgan Stanley, which is what Ridgefield prepared you for.
Yeah.
Truly, right? I was literally, JC, I was just on a call with the guys in the nation and was talking about permission to develop a skill or core competency that isn't going to help get you into a good college. And I said, because I grew up in a town where people were like, oh, you're doing X. Is that going to get you into a good college? Or is that going to get you a good job?
Yeah.
And that's part of the geography that you and I grew up in and the culture that we grew up in.
Correct.
So my curiosity for you, nice guy or not, is what's stopping you from going for being the world's best breakdancer?
Again, I just, there is a physical limitation. I actually just had surgery on my shoulder.
Okay.
There. But
gotcha.
So I dislocated it. I dislocated from breakdancing actually, and so right now I'm actually in recovery mode. But I got a full-time job. I just bought a house. My dad passed away 3 years ago, and so I bought the house that he owned. So my dad had a house. My sister and I inherited it, but I bought my sister's half of the house of the property. So now I'm with the full owner. So I'm taking care of it. But my dad was an alcoholic. He didn't take care of the place. Place and shit. Yeah. So I'm just renovating it. Spent like $60K on renovation. So, and now I'm just like a little bit in debt. So like I got financial issues. I guess that I'm trying to make more of a priority before I do my breakdancing or before like I kind of, step into that. Shoulder limitation, which is, a legit thing. But I don't know. I just, but before all that, I was practicing a lot and I was trying to go for it, but I just never fully sent it. Like I got a bro of mine, good friend of mine. He's a breakdancer too, and he's killing it. But the thing is with breakdancing is that it's, it's a lifestyle. You got to live and breathe it and be it. And, he practices like 3 times a day, 2 to 3 times a day. And he's got a job, but, he kind of couch surfs around and stuff, which is fine, which, I don't care. Like, I would rather be doing what I love, but I just have, the expectation, like, where I grew up, it's like, that's also another reason why I did go to college for a little bit, is because everyone was going to college. It was like, okay, go to college, get a degree, get a job, pay bills. And so I'm stuck doing that right now. So,
right on.
And I guess I just got that fear of doing that, I guess. And like let's
tease that fear out. What's the real fear here? What's the real fear? If you were like, you know what, man, at the end of this call, I'm going all in. I don't care what all in looks like. It may be leaving my job, selling the house. Like I'm going for it. How old are you?
I'm 26. Okay.
I'm giving myself till 30. All in on breakdancing. I don't care literally what I have to do. Mm-hmm. I remember, JC, meeting a woman in LA, and this is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was big, but it wasn't where it is now. And she literally lived in her car and then went to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academies, driving all over the country and saying, hey, if you have a back room, I want to sleep in your back room. I will mop your mats. I will do whatever you want me to do. Just let me train here.
Yeah.
And she became one of the best in the world as a female, like one of the first like 10 female black belts in the world. And I think she was in her 40s and may have even had a PhD, but went for it. So I'm curious for you, what is like the biggest fear if we were to say, here's the deal, man, you got 30 minutes to quit your job, sell the house, take the equity, and we're going to pretend that your shoulder's healed and you go for it. What's the fear?
It's just taking that risk. I'm afraid to take the risk.
What's on the other side of the risk?
Can you clarify that more? Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, like what happens if it doesn't work? What does that mean?
I mean, if I quit my job, I don't have money to pay the mortgage, the money to put food on the table. Let's see what else.
Let's get away from logistics.
Okay.
Because
yeah.
I have a feeling you know enough people that if you were like, hey man, I'm going to starve to death in the next 7 days. If I can't sleep on your couch and have you feed me rice and tuna fish, can I come crash with you? I just have a funny feeling you're not going to starve to death.
Gotcha.
So what's the emotional risk here?
Emotional risk, being judged by others. Like for example, man, like when I dance, like dance is like a very freeing thing to do. Like it's a very expressive thing. Like it's a very art, and when I dance, like when I was younger, dude, and I've been dancing since the age of 10. And I remember like when I was first taking classes when I was a kid, I was doing it just kind of like fit in with all the other kids. And I remember like when I was young, I was getting bullied a lot because I don't know, I just didn't fit in with kids. And then one day I met this other kid during church camp. It was funny enough. And he told me how he break dances, and I had no idea what that was, but I told my mom about it, and I started taking classes. But then I started fitting in more with people, and I started breakdancing. It was cool. I was like, oh, I'm going to breakdance because this is the coolest thing ever. My teacher, he's great. He's a Red Bull BC1 contender, and he taught me a lot of cool things. But anyways, like I did it to fit in, and then it came to the point at the beginning it was just fitting in. Like I found a group of people that I became friends with, I belonged to, and then after that, after some time, I guess when I became like 15, 16, I was actually going all in, man. When I was 15, 16 years old, when I didn't have bills to pay, when I wasn't busy, when when I was still with my parents, I was training for 5 hours a day for 5 days a week in my basement. It was awesome. I loved it. And it was so freeing, and I could be myself, when I was dancing, no issues. But now, like when I go into the studio where I go in here in Norwalk, like so I go to this gym, and the gym there has a studio, and they do like Zumba classes and yoga classes. But when there's nobody in there, anybody can go in and do whatever. So some dancers go in there. I've met other dancers. My ex, that's how I met her. She did ballet. But I would go in there and I would dance, but everything is open window. Like the whole studio is open window. So when guys are doing their squats, or, girls, whatever, whoever's, working out, they can peek in and they can, see me dance. And, sometimes I don't feel like I'm fully expressing myself, and I'm kind of punched in, and I can feel it in my body and in my mind, too much in my head. And I just have that, I guess, fear of judgment from others, and fear of, just being who I want to be, and, being judged, and, not being accepted by others for doing what I want to do. So, yeah.
Which is legit.
Yeah.
Right? Our number one directive as humans is to belong. We will betray ourselves and abandon ourselves and lie to ourselves and shapeshift ourselves 1,000 ways that we would stare someone right in the eye and say, I would never do that. And then we'll turn around in 30 seconds and do it in the name of belonging.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you something that may be hard to hear.
Bring it.
Yeah. Everyone's going to fucking judge you. I'm sorry. People judge you right now.
Yeah.
And here's what I've learned. I'm a little bit older than you and have gone on a very unconventional path. Someone's not going to like it, man. And here's what you have to weigh against. Am I going to get to the end of my days, whenever that may be, and look myself in the mirror and say, man, I lived it my way. I went my route. I tried. I went after it. I followed my heart. I followed my soul. Because what I'm hearing from you, this isn't a logical decision. You're not like, well, I did the numbers and the pros and the cons and breakdancing for 5 hours a day and a wild attempt at possibly making a living doing something that people are going to shame and put me down for. That's what I picked, as opposed to accounting, right? Which is as safe as it can be. And everyone in Ridgefield, Connecticut is going to clap at you and be like, oh my God, look at you. You're such, I'm so glad you found finance and that lovely tie and that sensible haircut, which you can go get. Or you get to say, I did it my way. And you know what? I let the chips fall where they may. And here's the hard part. If you go in accounting, if you go in finance, if you go the conventional route, there will still be people who judge you. Your number one question, JC, as first I'm going to say as a human, but then specifically as a man, is my path, is following my heart, is listening to my soul more important to me than the good opinion of strangers? Hear that again. Like, I hope you feel this. Is following my heart, is following my soul, this reason that I have been put on this earth, more important to me than the good opinion of people who I don't even know?
Mm-hmm.
Right? A couple years ago, I had a conversation with a woman. Her name is Jamie Thompson. She doesn't mind me talking about this. Her handle on Instagram is Holistic Sex Coach. And she and I were at a point, we had a very good friendship, and we're saying, like, we haven't really talked about certain aspects of our lives publicly. She hadn't talked about the fact that she, for a number of years, was a stripper in Vegas and now teaches this incredible path for women on holistic sexuality. And I was like, yeah, I hadn't really talked about being in the kink world or the BDSM world. And we were like, who are we afraid of? Who is the they?
Right.
Like, is the they my mom?
Yeah.
Is the they my close friends? And I was like, no, everybody kind of knows, like my coaching clients know this about me. And she said the same thing. It's like, I teach women and coach women and they know I was a stripper. And we were like, who is they? This they that has this massive power over us. And we literally came to this conclusion. They are people we've never met who live on the internet.
Yeah.
And we were both right. The next day we're like, screw it. We're gonna share our lives. So before you jump in, I want you to recognize that a fear of not fitting in and not belonging is a biological survival fear. It's not theoretical. It's not just emotional. There's a part of your brain that goes, starving to death is not what I want to do. Being ostracized from society is not what I want to do. Those lead to real world ramifications. There's a part of your brain that's like, hey man, food, shelter, water, fire, we love those. So giving it some credence.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side of the coin is, man, you're going to get judged, brother, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
I don't care what the path is. And the sooner you can become comfortable with the fact that you are going to upset people, you will have people hate you, you will have people call you names, you will have people put you down, you will have people shame you, will have people point and misunderstand you, the freer you become. I think what you're doing is rad, but you don't need my permission. I've talked to 1,000,000 guys or 1,000 guys over the past 10 years and gone, wait a minute, that's what you want to do? Go for it. Go for it. Trust yourself. Trust your heart. And more importantly, I know it's often like a religious term, but like, trust your soul. You didn't dance for 5 hours, 5 days a week because that wasn't like a gift that was given to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's special about you, JC. That's different. I don't have that. If you want, I can show you at the end of I won't do it on film, like how I dance. And you'll be like, I'm sorry, you don't have that gift. It'll be clear as day. And it's in you for a reason. So I don't want to just pump you up and be like, you got to go for it, man. Like, I want you to look at the reality is there's a legitimate fear.
Yeah.
And the most interesting people I know, the people with the closest friend groups, the people who actually now have massive influence, the people who sleep well at night, the people who are most successful have been at the impasse that you're at and had to say, I have faith and I have trust that following my heart and following my soul may not be an easy road, but it is truly the only path I can walk down and be healthy, be actualized, and be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll tell you, brother, I get guys now, like I'm 48 years old. I get guys in their 40s who are now like, here's the deal. In my 20s, I wanted to be a breakdancer. Now I've got 3 kids, 2 mortgages, an ex-wife, and a little bit of a drinking problem, a little bit of a weed problem, a little bit of a cocaine problem, a little bit of a porn problem, a little bit of a workaholism program or problem. And I'm going, why is that? Like, because I just never got to do the thing I wanted to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to scare you, but man, if I could go back and relive my 20s, I would follow the call to adventure a lot more. I followed the Connecticut path and worked 80 hours a week in my 20s at the prime of my life. Right? What I wanted to do was move to another country and like teach surfing and take Muay Thai and I like now get to do some of it in my 40s. But man, you're at like such a unique opportunity and in such a unique time, both in your life as a young man and actually having the answer to the question, what do I want to do? 30% of my phone calls, brothers, are guys going, I don't know what I want to do. Not, I do know what I want to do. And here are some of the mental, emotional, logistical impediments to doing it. How does that all land for you?
I mean, yeah, you're hitting the nail with the hammer. I mean, you know, I've thought about this for years now, you know, and for a while. And I like to journal a lot and think about it. And, you know, it's like, you know, like you said, dude, and you know what hit me just now that you said was that who's they? You know, who is they? Like, who the fuck is they? Like, who?
Some dude doing shoulder press behind you at the gym, right?
Yeah. I mean, right. And, you know, the thing is that it's all in my head that a lot of it's just in my head. And even though, and I appreciate, you know, you saying that it's a legitimate fear because it is, you know, it is.
It is.
It is. It's not, it's not an easy thing, you know, to get over.
No.
You know, and it's hard. You know, it's really hard. But the point, you know, but it sounds beautiful. I mean, I would rather go down that, you know, that tough path than do the Connecticut way. You know.
Yeah, tell me this is getting emotional for you. Tell me what's coming up for you.
Yeah, it's so it's just what I want to do, and it's just, you know, you're living your life in fear. And, you know, it's not okay just to, and, you know, I guess I don't have an outlet either to, you know, get things.
Yeah.
And it's tough, you know, it's, I guess I never really expressed this before to somebody as well, that this is what I want to do. And it's just tough because I've just been hiding in the shadows, you know, like how you said in the course. And it's totally like that, you know?
Do you have any idea how much courage it takes to actually say, this is what I want to do with my life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like truly, that's why it's emotional for you, because it takes so much damn courage to say, there's a machine at work here that's so much bigger than me and so much bigger than all of us that says, no. These are the 5 options for you. You grew up in this town. You grew up in this state. You're either going to be doctor, lawyer, accountant, whatever. Like, how dare you have the audacity to be uncivilized, to challenge the machine, to challenge the status quo? There will literally be people who go, I hate you because you're doing what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But there's a flip side, JC, and I hope you hear this. There will be so many people who do what they wanted to do simply because they knew you did. And if maybe that's part of the shift for you, is I didn't know when I quit drinking that about 30 people in my concentric circle would also quit drinking. Mm-hmm. And I'm not like, my platform, as you know, isn't sobriety. I just quit for me. And then all these people around me quit. And some of them actually said, like, well, we saw that you quit and we realized we don't really like it either. And they quit. And so sometimes for men, it's easier for us to orient into, even if it's just like that last little nudge, you know what? I'm going to be the type of guy on this earth that lives my passion and lives my purpose. One, because I think breakdancing is awesome and I want to be the best in the world at it. And I'm going to claim that. And 2, because I know there's going to be this downstream effect of all these people who I've never met, who are also in the back of the gym pressing and going, man, I wish I could be that guy.
Yeah.
Right? God bless that guy for doing the thing that he's doing. And there is something, I don't want to old guy you here, but as you do get older, you start to realize I really don't give a shit about what anybody else thinks I do. Do I have to deal with their emails? Yeah. Do I have to deal with the DMs calling me a fraud, calling me the next, like a wannabe Andrew Tate or whatever, or, you know, white supremacist because I don't have fucking hair? Yeah. Do I have to deal with the public? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it starts to go like this in scope of like, yeah, but my life is awesome. The people around me know me. The people around me love me. The people around me celebrate me. The people around me are all the type of people, excuse me, who live by the same path and passion of their heart and soul. And so if twice a month I get some jackass that DMs me that says he thinks I'm a fraud, great. Good. Have a great life, stranger on the internet. I'm over here doing this thing that I want to do. But I really want to reemphasize the power in you verbalizing it. Like nothing's real until it comes from it goes like this. Here we have a thought, drops down into our heart. Can I do this? Then it comes up here. And this is the decision point. Whoa.
Yeah.
Am I going to speak it? Even to one man. Right? I just told you I just kind of came off a call with the membership group and I had them all say to another guy, this is my commitment for the next 30 days. Because it's easy to think here, but it's real, isn't it, when it comes out that way?
Yeah.
Right? That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. Totally.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to get on it.
Yeah. So, what does getting on it look like for you?
So I can still dance. I mean, there's still some things I can do, you know, even though I have this physical limitation, but there's still some things that I could do, you know. There are different variations of the dance that does not put a lot of pressure on my shoulders, so I could do that. And I want to probably go to the gym and try to, you know, express myself, or go to the studio and, you know, try to express myself without the worries of other people's opinions, you know, and just do it and say, fuck it, you know, not giving a shit about what other people think about it. So
where can you find other dancers?
Oh, I have a group. I have a whole group of, you know, friends and people that I
okay.
So and they have I got a buddy who owns a dance studio down in Darien, next door over, and he hosts like open free dance cypher nights and stuff. So sometimes But even like that, like I have like even dancing in front of other dancers, I have a fear as well of being judged. Like, oh, you're not good enough. You know, you suck. I could do that head spin better than you stuff. But and it's just that fear of judgment from others. Even with people of my own kind, you know, I have that fear. And so I guess even going into that, you know, it's so funny because I even though I have this dream of, you know, being the best breakdancer in the world, I wrote it down in my journal the other night, and I realized that I had that fear of dancing in front of my other fellow friends who were also dancers, and it's like, and I had that fear, and I was a little anxious and nervous, and I was like, dude, how can you be the world's best breakdancer if you can't even fucking dance in front of like 2 to 3 other people who are also dancers, and without while having that fear, you know? So yeah. So I have to, you know, learn how to, I guess, either get over that fear or learn to like build more of a relationship with it, you know? So
I'm going to go with the second one. Fear is normal. Fear is natural. Fear of being judged is natural. It doesn't change. I still have to pee 30 times before I get on a stage. I've been public speaking for decades. I still, before like the first night of the Kill the Nice Guy call, I like had to pee like 6 times. I've done 1,000 Zoom calls talking about nice guy stuff. At no point have I ever thought I need to get over this fear. I actually think if I lose the fear, something's wrong, because then I've stopped caring. And maybe that's my own, maybe there is a point, like maybe there are people who actually don't have any fear when they do the thing that they do. I'm not there yet. And I think that's okay. But I love the fact that you said, I just want to have a relationship with it. I want to have a dialogue with it. Right? What is the projection? Because I hope you understand that you're projecting something onto those other people watching you.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're not sitting there being like, oh my God, this is the greatest dance I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm actually intimidated now to dance in front of him. When in your head, you're going, man, they think I suck. Who am I to do this? Like, it's all the projection. We actually don't know.
Right.
My curiosity for you, and this is for all of us, man, this is a bit of a shift, is why isn't it our default state to be like, man, those people watching me dance, they're probably too intimidated to dance in front of, they're probably going to quit at the end of watching me because I'm so good. Now that sounds like arrogance. That sounds like being conceited, but why can't we have somewhere in the middle?
Yeah.
Whereas instead of us all, most of us actually dropping down here and being like, they think I suck. They think I'm the worst.
Yeah.
They think I'm terrible. What if that relationship was just like, they're allowed to think whatever they want. This is me authentically expressing myself. If people, and I'm gonna keep coming back to the same thing, man. There's gonna be a spectrum. There are gonna be people that actually think you are God's gift to dance, and there are gonna be people who think I cannot believe he even gets out of bed in the morning. He's such a bad dancer. And your ultimate job as a dancer, as an artist, as an expressive, and as a man is to hold both with equal weight. I don't really care that you think I'm the best thing that ever happened to dance. And I really don't care that you think I'm the worst thing that ever happened to dance, because I'm actually just here to authentically express myself. Now that's a daily practice, brother.
Yeah.
When I write, I have to think someone's going to hate this. And I'm going to get an email from someone that says it changed their life or saved their life. Now I want to hold both of those emails in the same light. And you've probably heard this in the course. I have, in the course of 15 minutes, gotten a DM that was like, read your book, saved my life. Thank you so much. Like, literally, like, I'll name my firstborn after you. I have a woman with like the title of the book tattooed on her arm. 15 minutes later, another DM from a stranger. Just found your work. It is literally awful. You are a fraud. I can't believe anybody reads your writing. And I laughed, man, because I was like, this is the universe's way of being like, don't get too ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Like, within 15 minutes, I got both of those. And it was like, the practice is to take the good and the bad and go, I'm gonna get up tomorrow morning and I'm gonna write anyway. I'm gonna get up tomorrow morning and I'm gonna write anyway.
Yeah.
And I'll share this quick story with you. It's not my own, but it's my good friend Jeremy Goldberg. If you follow him on Instagram, he's at Long Distance Love Bombs.
Mm-hmm.
He is a PhD scientist, and started writing poetry and started writing like very vulnerable, expressive pieces for social media. And he was on a soccer team at the time. And he said there was one dude who he was like, man, I can tell you right now, if that guy reads my writing, he's going to be the one who judges me. And so I've seen him tell this story in workshops that we've led together. And he'd be like, all right, audience, you ready? I want you to write this down. Here's the mantra that I would say every day before pushing the publish button. You ready for this? It'll change your life. And then he'd be like, fuck Kenny. Right? And he'd be like, fuck Kenny. And he'd hit publish. Fuck Kenny. Publish every day, right? Kenny was the guy. And he said this magical thing happened about 3 years later. The soccer team disbanded or whatever, like it was adult soccer league. He gets a Facebook message from Kenny. And it says, hey man, I've always loved your writing. Just moved into a new house. Is there any way I can get one of your pieces framed and put on my wall?
Wow.
And he said his new writing mantra is fucking Kenny. Kenny. So I want you to adopt the same thing. You know, think of like, if you could archetypalize, if that's a word, that judging person. Who is it? Is it Bob from middle school? Is it Mrs. Johnson, your second grade teacher? Is it your parent? Is it one of them? And you give them that name, and you're like, that's the person that you're actually dancing for. I'm going to dance for John. I don't know if John hates me. John's the judge. but I don't care. Every day I'm going to get up and I'm going to dance for him, and I'm going to dance for me. I think you're doing something really cool, man. I was going to, I have a Sharpie here. This is something I've done before. I'm going to give it to you. You've probably seen this. This is my gift to you. You see that? Is it in?
Yeah. Thank you.
Permission.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just need permission from a stranger. I don't know you. You have my permission as a man, as a teacher, as a writer, as a nice guy coach to live the life you want to live. I don't care where you grew up.
Yeah.
I grew up in the same town. I get the pressure, right? You know how many people ask when I'm going to get a real job, JC? I run a nearly 7-figure business. Like, when are you going to grow up and get a real job? I'm sorry, I don't wear a tie to work anymore. Right? I don't have sensible shoes. I don't have a haircut. I don't drive a Saab. I don't do all the Connecticut things that I should do to, quote, be successful. And I truly, for the rest of your life, hope you don't either. Unless that's the decision that you want to make. But this time, if I'll leave you with this, you're young. And you may not feel like it and you may not know it. But for the next 5-6 years, you have this golden opportunity to play, to explore, to feel into things, to try things, to fail, to be like, oh my God, that was a terrible idea. And then you have a chunk of time after that to reorient, reorganize, be sensible if you choose to, make money in the right way, like all the standard things that we do. You have time. And I'll tell you something, at 48, I still tell myself that same thing. But I wish someone at 26 pulled me aside and went, do you really want to work 80 hours a week in an office? Or do you want to be out there traveling, surfing, like living an adventurous life?
Mm-hmm.
You got permission, man. You got my permission, whether you need it or not.
Thanks, Trevor. Yeah.
Yeah, my pleasure, brother.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That hit me real hard right there. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm curious, just so we have a little bit of strategy and logistic here.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you're committed to doing that's different than you're doing now to really bring this breakdancing to the next play, or to bring it to the open?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been thinking about it and I haven't like pulled the plug with it yet, actually. So I just bought a house, right? Like I mentioned before, it's my father's house. And so I have my tenants upstairs, but my apartment that I live in, it's a 3-bedroom apartment. So I have my own bedroom. I had a guest bedroom over in the other bedroom. And then this third one I made into my office. But I've been thinking about making that second guest bedroom that I have, or that other guest bedroom, and just taking the furniture out of there, which is not a lot, and just putting it downstairs, and then just turning that into my own little breakdance pad. So I can, practice in there. Because when I was practicing 5 hours a day for 5 days a week when I was young, which was awesome, I had my own I had my own fitness studio down in that house that I was living with my parents at the time in Richfield, and so I kind of turned that into my own little breakdance man cave. And so I want to do that, actually. So I want to clear out that furniture, and then that way, because if I have that space, then I have the space, so I could do it every day. Instead of if I don't have time to go to the gym, then at night, like when I was younger and when I was fully expressed and dancing, it did not matter what time I did it at. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I want to do it. This is what's important to me. But now that, I have a job, I got to get to bed and stuff. But I don't know if this is what I really want, then it shouldn't fucking matter, right?
Yeah.
I should do it.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
I would love for you to send me a picture of that room when it's clear. You've got my number.
Yeah.
And then, are you dancing anywhere on social media? Or there, for people watching this, like, where can people watch you, follow you, learn about what you're doing?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram. It's JAY Savage, CON Savage. And I don't and that's another fear. Like, I would love to post progress. I have photos. I have a lot of photos. The photos I don't mind because they're freezes, but there's videos of me dancing, and And again, I have that fear of, judgment from others. Oh, this guy sucks, all that, like we just said. But so I have some videos on there. But another fear of mine and lately I actually posted another video of me dancing recently on Instagram, which I'm proud of. That I took that risk. But that's another fear that I had, is posting on social media and, showing myself and maybe my progress with what I'm doing and all that, or just showing off, my dance, or just doing it for myself. So that's something I also want to do. Yeah.
Keep being bold. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Mm. And like, hey, you got to post 3 times a day and get through that.
Yeah.
There's different layers to this game and levels to this game. And the first level is saying, this is what I'm going to do. This is why I want to do it. I'm setting my home up so I can do it. I'm on it. And then the second level is making it public. And when the time is right, you'll know. And then you will have to create a new relationship with judgment, because you're going to get it, and create a relationship with the public.
Yeah.
But the thing I'll leave you with, man, is fortune favors the bold. And I'll tell you, man, 7 years ago, people told me I was crazy to work with men. People attacked me for working with men. I got the heat. I got the shit. I had people tell me they can't be in my life any longer. Here we are 7 years later. It's a thing. People celebrate it daily, right? We've changed thousands of men's lives. We've saved hundreds of men's lives. Mm-hmm. I knew back then that I was following my heart and my soul. And I was willing. I'll tell you this last story to leave it with you. The day before I launched Uncivilized, JC, I got on the phone with a guy, and I respect this dude immensely. Incredible entrepreneur, brilliant business mind, very just smart guy. And I said, I want to challenge the narrative of masculinity. And I broke it down over the course of like a half hour, telling him, this is where I think it can go. This is what I think the problem is. This is what I want to put my messaging as. This is the branding. And he, God bless him, did the worst thing anybody can do at the end of a call when you've poured your heart and soul into it. He was silent. And in my head, of course, especially as like a recovering nice guy, I was like, he hates it. He's about to tell me I'm a fool. He's about to try to talk me out of it. And he just went, do you have any idea the impact you can have on the world? And then he followed it up with what really screwed me up. He goes, but do you have any idea the potential it may cost you personally? Mm-hmm. And so what I did was what any brave American ex-cage fighting bodyguard guy was. I got in bed, I pulled the covers over my head, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm going back to acupuncture. I'm going back to teaching kettlebell swings. I'm going to own a gym again. I'm done with this whole thing. And then I had to wrestle with God for the night, or wrestle with whoever, and finally said, okay, I'm willing to pay whatever price it costs me to live from here. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to pay whatever price it costs me. And the next day I launched Uncivilized. And I'll tell you, I just got chills. Look at that. Woo. There was a cost. And the benefit, and like, I can't even imagine my life having not done it. It has led to so many incredible relationships, so many phenomenal experiences, so much growth, so much expansion. It's radically changed me as a man like nothing I could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling if you go all in on that, you'll have to make the same decision I made, and you'll get the same benefit. And I hope to be there to see where you are a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, etc. So please share with the world, man. Like, not just share your gift of dancing, but share the gift of permission. You do that, and it's not about you anymore. Mm. Right? That's what I realized that day in bed. I was like, this isn't about me anymore. I haven't been given this gift of writing and this understanding of masculinity for me. Right? It's not for me anymore. And when it became about it's for everybody else, mm-hmm. then it was a lot easier to navigate that relationship with judgment.
Makes sense.
Cool, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing so openly. Yeah. And man, Go dance your ass off, man. Go dance.
I will, man. I'll do it right now, actually.
All right, brother. Right. You got my number. I want a picture of that room. Cool?
Yeah, I will. Appreciate that.
All right. Cheers, man. I appreciate you. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bless. Thank you.